Greetings everyone, my name is Jonathan Bailey, and this will probably be the last vlog I'm doing referencing my Haunted House Bernie Baxter's Traveling Sideshow at BernieBaxter.com. Happy November 6th, happy Election Day. I hope that if you are in the United States, you either are going to vote, have voted, or are like me and voted previously in early voting because lines suck. And I was very fortunate to get there on a good day. Seriously though, happy voting day. Hope everyone's making the most of it, no matter what your political views are. I know I haven't done a video log in some time. The reason is we were wrapped up, getting the haunt done, putting it on, just go, 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 go. And then right after the haunt ended, Crystal and I both fell very ill. I've said it was the flu a few times, but I'm not 100% sure it was. It might have just been a really nasty cold. It had the symptoms. It had the aches. It had all that stuff. So it may well have been the flu, but it didn't. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't have it tested, is what I'm saying. I never got it tested. That being said, I wanted to do a quick recap of the 2012 haunt season. I'm going to post photos. I've got some. The girl who was taking photographs at night just sent them to me, so I've got them. I'm going to put them on the Facebook page and on the site in a little bit. But yeah, so just a quick oral retelling, oral recap of the 2012 haunt season, what went on. And start off with Friday. We were open. Friday was opening night, and it was pretty unremarkable, really. It went very, very well, very solid. We had probably the best and most experienced crew of any night we ran that night, which is unfortunate because it's traditionally, and it was this season, our slowest night. We put through about 60 people, which, like I said, bear in mind, we are a small home haunt, neighborhood haunt. But that was very good for us, actually. Previous year we put through just 40, and this year we put through 60, and it had us a little bit nervous because that's, a 50% increase. And while a 50% increase Friday night and a 50% increase Saturday night is not a big deal, a 50% increase Halloween night would be impossible. We just simply could not put through that many people. But it went pretty well. We went to bed that night feeling pretty confident. The only bad thing that happened realistically was that our banners blew down that night, and that's a very minor thing. We suspended them with bungee cords, but the winds were very high, and they came down. And in fact, the winds were very high all of haunt season. And it turns out, I looked it up on the weather map, Hurricane Sandy was chugging along the eastern coast at the time, getting ready. I think it was preparing to make landfall or just made landfall in New Jersey. But the front that was feeding it, that whole massive cold front, swooped down and went through New Orleans. And it's very mind-boggling to me to think that a storm literally half a continent away, we were getting winds from that front. It just shows you how massive, weather is, and it blew my mind. I mean, obviously what we experienced is nowhere near what New Jersey experienced, but it just gives you sort of a handle on the size of the storm. But I digress. Saturday, we woke up, like I said, feeling pretty confident, perhaps a little bit cocky, and things kind of took a bad turn there. The reason was we woke up, we started doing all of the work, and then we learned our security system was not working. And this meant, A, we had an unexpected major construction project, but worst of all, we had a very, very large expense coming up. And a very large unexpected and unplanned expense that we weren't even sure we could afford, really. We had to really work the numbers to make this happen. But it meant a lot to us to get the video, so we worked on it and we got it to happen. But we were only able to get 2 of the cameras working before we opened at 7 p.m. Tensions were high, we were snapping at each other, we were fighting, and we throw open the doors at 7 and there is no one there at all. It was dead. Completely freaking dead. Nothing was there, and that's very unusual. Usually we have at least a few people come by at 7, and things start ticking up more at 7:30. A few people trickle in, but then right at about 7:45, I'm outside sort of alerting the actors when people are coming. I see what I think is lightning kind of off in the distance somewhere. It turns out it was a transformer explosion, and the entire neighborhood went dark. I got to watch it go dark, house by house by house by house by house by house, all the way until it looped back around to me. Dark. And we lost power. And I'm like, oh God. It's just like, this is the perfect capper for an already terrible night. Crystal, who was the general inside the haunt, said everyone inside was wondering, well, what do we do? Do we shut down? Do we do this? And Crystal's like, no, too much time, too much money. We've already overcome too much to shut down. She runs into the house and gets a bunch of flashlights. All the actors already had the little LED ones, but we got some big ones. And in particular, we got a giant one. You know, you get the toolkit with the interchangeable battery. You get like the drill and all that stuff. With the flashlight with that, it was a very, very large flashlight. And we're fortunate. None of our scares are electrically powered. So realistically, other than the lighting being out, the haunt is perfectly functional. But I was more worried about people showing up. And indeed, Crystal's coworker came shortly after the power went out. He went through and he went through with a flashlight, and we found out A, it worked very, very well, better than I expected, and B, it was still safe to do. And so we're like, okay, well, if anyone else comes, flashlight night. It's officially flashlight night. And sure enough, 3 van loads pulled up right after he left, and I heard them talking to each other. Oh, they don't look like they got power. They look like they're not opening. Da 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 da. And I'm outside my mask, and I hit the window, and I have my flashlight. And, we got flashlights. And after they got done with their abject terror, this creepy guy who had just, slammed into their window and was screaming at them, they let out a cheer, and we put through, I can't remember, it was between 40 and 50 people before the power came on. Power came back on. We let some of them go through again to see it with the lights on, but we put through another 30 or so. And all in all, with the night, we put through, I think, about 100. We had about 150 to 160 after the first 2 nights were done, way ahead of the mark we had last season. That just left Halloween night, and it was another catastrophe in the making. At least it should have been. Because 3 of our actors who had made promises to be there, and one of them in writing, no less, flaked out. They just didn't show up. And in fact, one of them never notified me at all they weren't coming. In fact, I should say one of them didn't notify me, and that was 2 of them there. That was a husband and wife team. And the other one notified me a grand total of 45 minutes before opening. He had decided not to come. And now we're 3 actors down, and 2 other actors who were supposed to come are late. And that puts us down 5 people right as we're opening, and that's not enough people to even have a show. That takes out pretty much half of our crew. So I'm scrambling. I recruit one person who says he'll be there in 30 minutes. He never shows. We've had 4 people now not fulfill what they said they would do. But we persevered. I recruited one trick-or-treater, literally, who came by the house before opening. I jumped out and I said, hey, would you like to be in a haunted house? And sure enough, he would, and he actually was a really, really good actor. Really glad to have him. He ran his room very well and did a great job. And we had another one of our actors from last year who hadn't expressed any interest come by, and he didn't really plan on being in it, but when he heard we were short-staffed, popped in, got into a brand new spot, and ran it. So that gave us more than enough people, especially once the other 2 actors who were late showed up. We now had more than enough of a crew to operate. And at 7:30, it lit up. The line got long, and it stayed that way right until 10. The numbers were amazing. I was convinced the whole night we were just going to smash that record. But we ended up barely beating last season's record rather than just completely annihilating it. And the reason was the line died off earlier. I think it's because it was a Wednesday night. It died off a little bit earlier. So we ended up missing kind of the tail end of the action. We ended up shutting down completely at 10:30 just because there was no one there. Usually the line stays thick and full until 10:30, and we shut down at 11, but here it died at 10. So it died about half an hour earlier than I had anticipated. But it was okay. You know, we were tired. We beat our season's record. We were happy, and we pulled out an amazing season despite power outages, actors not showing, things breaking, every obstacle I could imagine, and we pulled it out, and I was very happy with how we did. And I want to say right now, thank you, to Crystal, my significant other, who did an amazing job inside the haunt, being the general, pulled things together, pulled us through some very difficult times where I admittedly was distraught and on the verge of tears, especially Halloween night when I didn't think we had enough people to open. She pulled me through, pulled the haunt through, did amazing, amazing work. I want to thank her father, her brother for coming down to help. Their assistance was invaluable. And I want to thank all the other actors. I don't know if I should name them. I didn't ask if I was okay to do that. So, but thank you to everyone who helped. Elizabeth, Lena, running the children's area, great work. Jen, Mike, DJ, and everyone that was inside the haunt. Jesse, how dare I forget you. Everyone that was inside the haunt, thank you. And who worked the other nights. Even though, even though I'm grateful to the people who helped on the other nights and didn't show up on Halloween, um, I really, really, really just want to say thanks to the people who made this season very, very, very special and very awesome. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your assistance, and I'm already way over on time. So that was it for the 2012 season. We are done. I'll be back to doing copyright news next time. In the meantime, hope you all had a great Halloween, and remember, it is November 6th, so go vote if you haven't already, and if you're in the United States. Don't go vote if you're in another country. That's probably pretty ridiculous. But if you're in the United States, go vote. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.